Emmy number one, why you not with Jalen Hurts? Emmy number two, why you not with A.J. Brown? Those players carried Philadelphia to the Super Bowl, and a certain journalist right here is going to break down her experience. And me, along with a couple other special guests, including a certain friend of mine from high school, will come on to break down the Eagles' Super Bowl win over the Kansas City Chiefs. This is nothing but that sports talk. Let's get it.
Go Birds.
Welcome to a platform where we debate on the top stories of the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, and other leagues with the best in the world of sports. You'll also get interviews with many athletes and media talents at several basketball events, including the WNBA and college basketball. My name is Rafiq Lewis on it. This is nothing but that sports talk. Oh yeah, welcome back to another episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. I'm Rafiq Lewis. I'm alongside Ryan Walker, and joining for the first time, he's actually an old friend of mine from my high school alma mater, Canarsie Educational Campus, which was Canarsie High School way back in the day before everything changed. Randell Adolphe, but everybody in my school calls her Radio. And yeah, welcome to the show for the first time.
Thank you. Much obliged.
Yeah, it's only right that I bring him in because this past week his favorite team won the Super Bowl in literally blowout fashion, and it was the Philadelphia Eagles getting a win against the Kansas City Chiefs in literally revenge mode from the loss 2 seasons ago, ending a possible three-peats.
Yep.
We're talking 40-22. Literally a shutout. The game was literally over ever since the first half. But Rayo, as a long-time Eagles fan, I got to ask you, what are your overall thoughts about this victory for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Much deserved. Time was coming, and it was a lesson to be taught. We was playing in New Orleans. We told Patrick Mahomes we was coming for him, and we was coming for that title.
I ain't no surprise right there because they literally shut down the defense, holding Patrick. They managed to pick him off like 2 times. He did manage to get 3 touchdowns, but obviously the game was over ever since before it even got started. And you can thank the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles for that one.
Thank
Ryan,
you.
what is your take about the way they pull off this victory?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I watched maybe a quarter and a half and I went to sleep. My life is so crazy. Sometimes I don't even have the energy to stay up to watch this stuff. But, the Eagles just took care of their business. They did what they had to do. I've spoke many times on the show. We spoke a week before where my opinion with it was that the best player on the field for both teams is Patrick Mahomes. However, the better team overall was the Philadelphia Eagles. They were more solid on the quarterback to quarterback. They don't win that matchup. Of course, Mahomes is better than Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts is good. The running that we're not going to do this. That we're not going to do. You won the Super Bowl, but don't put your eyes up for that. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. Period. So regardless of what happened last Sunday, we played bad. We know that, but we're not going to do that today, guys. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. So with that being said, Hurts is damn solid. Saquon had a phenomenal year, big time player. We know what he had. He was with the Giants, but at the end of the day, we didn't have the offensive line and the keys in order for him to have a 2,000-yard season. So he would not have done that with the Giants. He would have done well, but he would have done well, and they still would have lost because we don't have the other keys in order for him to be successful. They had the better running back. By far, they had the better defense. Especially in front seven. The Eagles secondary might not be the greatest per se, but they're because the front seven is so good, they can be and make plays and so on and so on and so forth. That's how it always works in football. Special teams, they're good. They're well coached all throughout the staff. They'll be losing some of the guys on their staff because now the staff is doing well and they're going to be getting head coaching jobs and stuff in other positions.
That's right.
So the better team, of course, which they proved to as well, was the Philadelphia Eagles. In sports, the better team does not always win.
That's true.
So, and especially in a format of a March Madness or NFL where it's a one-game situation. So that day, if you don't play well, then it can always be different. If the Giants play the Patriots maybe 97 times in the 2008 season, they probably beat us 96 times, but we were fortunate enough to just be good that day. And that's what it takes sometimes in March Madness and the NFL, where in bringing back to come back to the NFL, we watch March Madness all the time, where a lot of times the better team does not win. Okay, and it's about who played well that day. So they took care of their business. They were solid. Hi, Rodgers, how you doing? They were solid on all parts of the field, and they took care of it. And it was only a matter of time. It's hard to win a lot of times consecutive in sports. And clearly, as we still see, that's why nobody has won 3 straight in the NFL. It is very difficult to do it. Sometimes you might lose some of your hunger and passion. And I think Kansas City, I don't want to make it seem like hindsight is 2020 because Jesus Christ, they were 1 game away from winning the whole entire thing.
Yes.
Kind of patched up their team last year with little things, and there's other things they're going to have to work on. Clearly, if Mahomes is going to be their franchise for the next 10 years, they have to make sure they have 97 offensive linemen to protect them. First line, second line, and third line, because that's going to be key towards their success. They also have to. They gotta. Kelsey's not 12 years old no more, so who knows how long he's going to play. On top of the other special players, Pacheco is very good, but they have to now figure out to get some other key players, not just the Hopkins and so on and so forth, for their offense. But I think the O-line is going to be more key for them. And they got to get out the gets and the gadgets because, people are catching up to them slowly but surely. Next year's another year. But the Eagles took care of their business. They were the better team. They're the champions, division rival. But, I always give respect to where respect is due. They won. They took care of their business. And they were better on that day, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and it's all because of plays like the interception that Cooper they managed to make like a 38-yard interception return that put them up by 17 yards, or the 12-yard touchdown pass to AJ Brown. Those type of plays alone was enough to seal the championship for the Philadelphia Eagles in the first half before Kendrick Lamar and Serena Williams got on stage to perform.
Let me tell you something. In the first possession, the Eagles had the ball first. There was a controversy. AJ Brown got called for offensive pass interference, catching the ball with a stiff arm thing going out to the defender. They flipped it back, and everybody started to try to go crazy. Oh, they be cheating for Kansas City. Oh, it's the politics. Oh, it's the refs. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. And here's another thing too. I want to get out there with that point. When I'm going with this with a second. Unfortunately, whether we like it or not, in sports, when you have a team that has consistent success, whether by the gods or not, when Jordan was winning in the 90s, there were a lot of calls that would go for Jordan and the Bulls that probably shouldn't have went certain ways.
You're right.
When Tom Brady was winning all those, do we forget that
the butt fumble?
Right. Do we forget that as much as it was a rule they made, the Tuck rule started the whole.
You talking about the Spygate thing that happened? You talking about the Spygate thing that happened back in the late 2000s, right?
Forget Spygate. They already won. Their first Super Bowl was the Tuck rule. They played the Oakland Raiders in the snow. Do we remember this game, guys? Anybody?
Yes.
Right? The Tuck rule thing happened. They flipped that call. They won that year. Drew Bledsoe got hurt at first. So there's many things that go into the antidote of winning. The Yankees were going on a run. A kid named Jeffrey Mayer snatched a home run from the field, and the Yankees went to win 4 championships in a time. So unfortunately, listen, I know Vegas has gambling, and I know things work. Guys, we gotta try to. If somebody told me Rafiq stole from the store, If I don't have any evidence to say that he stole that, my golly, I need to keep my mouth shut. So until you have evidence where you can say, yes, they cheated and we got it, and they get in trouble for it, leave that alone. Try to love sports for what it is. Try to remember that kids play this for free and that we're watching grown men make millions of dollars for it. So let's not go into the politics of that. All good teams and all great players. I'm pretty sure LeBron got some calls that he wasn't supposed to get. The best player in the league. So guess, or he was the best player in the league for a long time, and probably one of the greatest, if not the second greatest, whatever we want to call him, guys, player of all time. Things go their way when you get the respect for it to go. With that being said, AJ Brown had the penalty, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that same drive, the next time around, Kansas City had a big play where the penalty happened and everything evened out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here goes the other part of what I was trying to illustrate with that. The Kansas City Chiefs, after that penalty and everything evened out, the game balanced out. So certain times we're going to say there was no logistics that we could, even after they lost, people were like, you see, this is what happened. And when stop it, they lost. The Eagles are better. So if we give credit to something else, then that's discrediting what the Eagles did. Right? Right. So the whole mind state of this whole cheating logistic things, it happens. It is what it is. And it doesn't always work out that way, but there are things that sometimes you need skill and you need to work hard, but sometimes you need a little bit of luck to win things in sports. Okay? So that's the point with that. And the Eagles were the better team on that day. And there's nothing else to really draw in regards to, the scandals, Vegas, conspiracy theories, the refs. Where was the refs?
Not to mention the fact that Patrick Mahomes was sacked 6 times. We can't just forget that. I know Rio won't.
No, they won the football game, so there's nothing to be upset with that one. But you can't win them all. They'll have to work on their team. He's been in prominent positions every year since he's been in there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure the Chiefs will work on that again. Next year's a new season. And they're the champs. So, but the whole, even after with the loss, I'm like, yo, guys, they lost. There's nothing to draw from it.
There's nothing to say. I mean, the Eagles fought. I mean, the Eagles defensively and offensively earned that Super Bowl.
This is now I knew Radio and Rafiq, if they were in trouble. On that first drive, when Kansas City went down and Mahomes threw a good pass to Kelce, and Kelce could have caught it. Kelce dropped it. Kelce don't usually drop passes. When he dropped that pass, I said, it's over. They're losing.
The same thought we've had when the Seattle Seahawks steamrolled the Peyton Manning's Denver Broncos with that little mistaken throw.
I said they're losing.
We was like, it's over. We was over to that point. So that brings similar vibes to what you're talking about.
Kelce dropping a pass on the first play, just like you said with the Denver. When I seen that, I said, they're in trouble. It's over.
Same thing with Randy Moss when he was with Patriots. And Randy Moss don't drop passes.
Does not drop passes. That's a scary omen. That's watching the black cat walk across the field.
Black cat running around that franchise.
Yes. Taylor Swift, nobody was good. They could have brought everybody in the Kansas. They could have brought Tony Gonzalez back. They was not going to win that day. The black cat ran. If Kelce dropping the football, you in trouble. And he's his most important target. So if he's having issues going to him now, they in trouble.
Ray, you got any thoughts on everything Ryan just explained to you?
Me and Ryan are on the same page.
We're sharing a brain.
I mean,
he's the brain.
I mean, see, now you're learning from one of the best in sports. I mean, now you know how it feels like to come on this show, Radio, because we talked about it, and now you made your debut. So this way you can share your insights with them. The same insights that we've been sharing since high school.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now we get to the next topic. Arron Rodgers parted ways from New York Jets.
Oh, thank God. You want me to help him pack?
I mean,
I've been saying the Jets was gonna lose Aaron Rodgers for 3 years.
They didn't lose nothing.
Aaron Rodgers missed a whole season after getting injured, and then the second year you only win like 5 or 6 games with the Jets, and it's just as bad.
Let the 17-year-olds play their ball. Let them play. They cooking right now.
Rafiq will tell you this. How many times do I say, Rafiq, let the kids play? It's not
too many times.
80.
More times than you can count.
Did we just watch what Daniels just did? Do we see the quarterback on San Diego? Hubert, he's a young kid. Joe Burrow, young kid.
17.
These are young kids having impact. That old veteran stuff is not going to work anymore if you're not playing well. Giants, what are you waiting for too? Draft every young kid. You ain't been winning, so what difference is it going to make to get a veteran to go in there? Put the kid in, let them learn, let them have their growing pains. That's how you build a football team.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers is not going to. These guys back here had the nerve 2 years ago. Rodgers goes to the Jets, and all of a sudden, I'm talking to the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers and the Patriots 2 years ago. Now, Jets fans are telling me it's a new day. I said, excuse me? I said,
just because you part way with Aaron Rodgers?
You want me to go find? Well, I can't find him no more because they helping him pack, just like I'm helping him pack because he needs to get the hell out of here. I said, brothers, you, first of all, it doesn't matter if Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Solo, Aaron Holiday, Aaron goes to the Jets as the quarterback. In order for you to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC, you have to get through Patrick Mahomes. That's the first part. That's your first problem. You can't go nowhere in the AFC unless you talk to who?
Patrick Mahomes.
Right? Okay, so that's the first person you're going to have to talk to, because when the AFC Championship game comes, I'm telling you this much, I know Kansas City going to be there. So now it's about who else plugs that other part in. You got Joe Burrow, who's a phenomenal quarterback in the AFC. You have Justin, who's a phenomenal quarterback as well. There are many guys that are really good.
Lamar Jackson.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying?
Josh Allen. You can't forget about him.
Josh Allen. I mean, they're loaded in the AFC. They're loaded with quarterbacks. So I'm like, so let me get this straight. Aaron Rodgers, and let me take the first part and get it nice. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's a multiple league MVP. So I'm not saying he's a scrub. He's a Hall of Famer. He will get a green jacket, right? However,
26.
Yes. However, they pay you for work on what you do today, not what you did yesterday. You already got paid for yesterday. It's about what you're doing right now. And the fact of the matter is that Rodgers on Green Bay, as much as he did a lot of good things, he made a lot of people pissed off in Green Bay too. There were receivers that weren't happy with Rodgers there over time and spoke their opinion. He underappreciated
Donald
Driver and many others. He underappreciated their head coach. He made it seem like it was more of him that made them win completely. His one Super Bowl almost 14 years ago, for crying out loud. But so he made it seem like it was just him. This is the guy who also lied about the vaccine thing and all that stuff. If a brother do it, it'd be a whole different story and still play football. There's many things that we have questioned with his character. He's alienated certain people when he was at Green Bay. I said, this is the guy that you want to come to the Jets. Remember, you haven't won since 1969. You haven't been to the playoffs since 2010. So Aaron Rodgers is not going to come here and save anything. And you're not going to go to the Super Bowl right away. How about this? How about you win the AFC East? How about you win the division? And then when you win a division, how about then you talk about that goal? But you're acting like you've had a premise on the team to talk about success when you've had no success, just like my crappy Giants over the last few years. I said he's not saving anything here. The second play, he tears his ACL. That's not his fault. Offensive line did him an injustice. But what did I also say? He is an older guy. His body's not the same. They got rid of him. Everybody said, oh, Jordan Love, Green Bay stupid. Are they really? Jordan Love's better than Arron Rodgers right now. Mm-hmm. He's better than him. He was better than him last year. He was better than him this season. I'm not talking about the name from the career. Go look at the numbers. Go look at how he helped Green Bay. That's why Green Bay said, man, you could go. We're done. You gave us all the years. We're going to move on. And he should have known better because about umpteenth years ago, they did the same thing with him. Rodgers sat on the bench for about 4 years learning. He became the quarterback.
Bradford, same thing.
Have a good day, Rodgers. Please get out of here. You should have never been here. They paid you. You got paid. They're fine. They're better off with Radio being the quarterback because he can win 5 games. If that's what they paid for.
On a side note, Radio actually had a football career when even though he graduated from South Shore, he graduated from Canarsie, he went to South Shore but before that he went to Tilden. But
you want to be a quarterback for the Jets? It can't be that hard, and they're gonna pay you.
I already know the playbook.
It don't matter. Just sign the contract. Jump on the field and hurt yourself, and go get the rest of the money.
He can tell you how many positions he played right off the bat.
Quarterback, defensive back, running back, halfback, fullback, tight end.
I could use you on the Giants. You could come there too. We'll figure out to give you some money. You still could like the Eagles as long as you come to work.
Okay, so what's my contract? How many days I'm on the field?
They'll pay you. They'll figure it out.
Okay. Nah, but all joking aside, this is literally another quarterback bust for New York Jets. I mean, it's like you had like 8 different quarterbacks ever since the last playoff appearance in 2010, and
my goodness,
yeah, they all had only one winning season to show for it with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you could beat the Buffalo Bills that last month of the season.
Oh my goodness!
And then
they were 10-6 that year too. Jesus Lord.
And that shows the promise. And then the next year they stuck up. And 1 year 2022, they showed some promise with Zach Wilson. They stuck up the joint big time at the end.
Who?
Zach Wilson.
Who the hell's that?
You remember when they had that good start in 2022 and they fell off the map?
That guy still plays football?
Mm-hmm. My greatest accomplishment was throwing an 80-yard touchdown versus Tilden High School.
That means your arm is better than Zach Wilson. If that guy still got a job, God bless him. When I said a guy from BYU is going to save the Jets, really? Really? He's going to save you? Cut it out. Not that kid. I feel bad for them. They went through a couple. You know what? Their last really good quarterback.
It had Sam Darnold on the team, but yeah, ever since Sam Darnold left, I mean,
okay, we were just about to say that.
Those success of the Panthers, he at least he carried the Vikings to the playoffs. For crying out loud.
Yeah, and he also scares me too because he seems like a system perfect situation quarterback. Mm-hmm. When you watch guys like Lamar, guys like Hurts. Guys like
system quarterbacks,
right. But there's certain guys that have the talent. Like we see Mr. Daniels. Those guys have talent to elevate their teams, and there are other quarterbacks, and there's nothing wrong with that. That you have to put them in certain situations and give them certain keys in order to be successful. You understand that? We would just watch Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and their staff are so good. And the Kansas City Chiefs team is good, not poo-pooing on it. But let's really look at this in hindsight for how they got exposed with things in the Super Bowl. There's a lot of things they need to work on that football team, clearly, right? And Mahomes is so special that he can get them that far off his own talent. Lamar Jackson can elevate the Baltimore Ravens because he's so great. Even though they have other good keys, that he puts them in positions to do what they do like this every year off his talent. Sam Darnold might not be able to do that in a situation where it doesn't work out for him, because when he didn't have all the keys, even though a young kid on the Jets, we've seen how successful he was. You put him in another team, the Carolinas, the Minnesota, with a good offensive line, with a running back that can run behind him, with a couple targets, and you just tell him, hey, you know what? The Giants did it a few years ago with the stupid boy from Duke that stole $160 million to go build another university for Duke University, or science building, or whatever the hell he's going to go damn do. But that 1 year when the coach was there, he said, listen, we're going to make the plays very simple. You don't, 1, 2, 3. If you count to 3, you shouldn't have the football. Get rid of it. Throw it away. Throw it out of bounds. But don't throw it to the other team. Or we're going to hand it off, and we're going to put you in positions to be successful. They put a little O-line around him. He kind of surprised a lot of teams, because Jesus Christ, 9-6-1 is not a record that usually takes you to the postseason. But they put him in positions to be successful. When the Giants didn't have all that, how did he do?
Two-step drop works all the time.
Get rid of it. Somebody throw it out of bounds. The man that runs away lives to see another day. I'd rather you throw 3 out of bounds than throw 3 to the linebacker.
And that's sad. And it's sad and it doesn't even help that Dale Jones can get hurt to the point where Tommy DeVito had to take.
Danny DeVito, you said it right. The same damn thing. He was throwing it to everybody else, but his damn. God bless him. Don Bresco prep jersey. God bless him. But when they had him, I said, that guy's not a starting NFL quarterback. You know that. Stop it. He's a good kid, but he's not a starting NFL quarterback. Stop it.
Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get one of those kids. Cam Ward has.
That's only Cam Ward is available, because remember, the Jets, I believe they're like the 4th or 5th pick in the NFL draft this year.
Yeah.
Or so around those realms. So that's only if Cam Ward's available, because remember, Giants got first dibs on quarterback. They the one that need a quarterback more. Tennessee and Cleveland do not need a quarterback all that much. They just need a receiver. Tennessee needs to see a good receiver, and Travis Hunter fits the bill as a number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
It's going to go Shedeur Sanders first, then
possible.
Then Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter?
Yeah.
What do you think? I guess, and then after that, I guess the Giants would definitely. If Shedeur goes first, then that means the Giants would have to get Cam Ward. And if Cam Ward goes first, then that means, if that goes the way you're saying, then they would have to get Shedeur.
Yeah.
But what do you think? I mean, he probably fell a little bit. He's probably going to still be top 10. The pass rusher from Penn State. They had oh God, they had him going top. I believe is of African descent. I'm gonna look it up, or when you get a chance to, Rafiq, look it up, because they had that kid going very high. But the thing is that, like you said, Cleveland has the number pick, right?
Yeah. God bless.
God bless. Yes, and Cleveland doesn't. Well, Cleveland actually needs a quarterback, but economically they've paid a lot for the one that's there.
Mm-hmm.
You start over, you still got to pay them. And
okay, quick question. Would you rather trade a quarterback that you wasted $60 million on, or get 2 first-round draft picks and get a number 1 pass rusher?
For Cleveland, per se?
Yeah.
If it was me and I'm the general manager and I'm in their situations, based off with how things have been pretty much so bad for Cleveland, more than good over the last 20-something years. This might sound crazy.
This is Abdul Carter. He plays edge for Penn State.
Abdul Carter, yes indeed. Yes indeed. Phenomenal pass rusher.
68 tackles, averaging 2 sacks per game. Yeah, he's definitely going to be useful.
I ain't gonna pick him. The 2 sacks? No, I'm not gonna pick him.
Well, it's the upside. You know how?
Yeah.
The upside, and the potential per se. But
and while the Jets, on the other hand, they got their protectors got this kid named Tateria. Tad. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name, but it starts with a T and ends with McMillan, a wide receiver from Arizona.
Oh, okay.
You know what, too, Radio. My heart would want to say to move on and to draft those kids and just start fresh with Cleveland. But, you got to be a smart person. No, they got to stick with it. You got to – I would still keep Deshaun. I wouldn't trade down. You know what's so crazy? Trading Myles Garrett is going to be very, very difficult to do because he gets paid a lot of money and they're going to want a lot in return. So it's going to see how much teams want to give up for him. I would draft a quarterback and I would still groom him under Deshaun. But economically, there's so much tied to him that it's so easier said than done. As a fan, that's why I had to change the perspective. I can't say, hey, we got to pay him $60 million. He'll cut him and start over. Because you still got to pay him the $60 million that's left on whatever the deal is, regardless of whether you cut or scratch him. So you draft a quarterback and you tell Deshaun, of course, listen, this is your team. You're going to be the starter. We're going with you all the way and everything. This is your window of opportunity. And brother, you can't give us a timetable on your success. Let's get this straight right now. You were good on Houston. You did a phenomenal job there. I am not the district attorney, but whether or not you got in trouble, we know what they alleged said you did. Because I don't want nobody to say that I'm, rest in peace, Johnny Cochran, right? So you got in a lot of trouble, right? They gave you an opportunity. You lucky Cleveland gave you an opportunity because every other team ran. Not because of your talent, because they didn't want to deal with the other part of it. You haven't been great here. Whether it's been all you or other things, it's a collective team. You got about 2 years to prove to the NFL that you're something. Because if you don't, trust me, you'll be bagging groceries so fast, you won't even know what hit you. So you have a 2-3 year window, bro. It's your team. Please prove us wrong. But we still going to draft this kid, and you going to work with this kid, and you're going to show him the ropes too. Because if you're not, then we're going to just cut you and say, take the $60 million. But we both need each other with this. There is no leverage on this, okay? They should have the leverage more because of what your situation is. And if you have a problem with that, you see Radio just what do with his hands. We will get the scissors for you. We will cut you, and we'll take the kid off the bench, and we'll just play him. DeVito, Cavito, Chavito, whatever his name is, as the backup, and we'll play them. But there's a lot of teams, including my lovely New York Giants, who have a lot of really big decisions to make in the next few months.
Let's go, Patriots.
Christ.
Yeah, I would not count on the Patriots getting anybody. That remains to be seen what happens as we're now in the NFL offseason.
Yeah, a lot of decisions, right?
Yeah, a lot. All right, now on to the next topic. The Knicks are coming off a victory. The Knicks are coming off a crazy overtime victory against the Atlanta Hawks, 148 to 149 to 148. Yeah, thank you. Off a game winner by Jalen Brunson with 11 seconds left. And for once, Trae Young couldn't take over the Garden, even though they had that last-minute surge to force overtime. The Knicks held them off when it mattered the most. But there are some concerns and discussions that needs to be brought up because the Knicks have no bench and the scoring defense is not as good as they were in the previous years under Tom Thibodeau. So, once Mr. Robinson comes back, do you think that will change, Randy? Radio?
This is Stephen A. Smith talking. Come on, man. My New York.
I'm pissed off.
Come on. When Robinson comes back, he has to be healthy, demolish everything that comes to him. I'm talking about grab the rebounds, be prolific, be charismatic, be strong, and Take LeBron to the paint, man. Be the next LeBron in New York.
I but Rafik, the Knicks do have a bench. The production for the bench is just not consistent enough game to game.
Yeah, they're dead last in scoring off the bench.
Right.
They don't do pick
And that
and
also
roll.
is because he's gotten better with it in the last 2-3 weeks, but that's also because we know he plays the starters a lot. And I just they've had times. It's like there's talent on the bench. With me to say, you have a campaign, you have a Deuce McBride, you have a Precious Achua. I think it's Precious.
Landry.
Yeah, you right.
You know what I'm saying? You have Precious. You have
Landry Shamet.
You have Landry Shaman who was back from injury for about 3-4 weeks now. Jericho Sims is no longer there. He fell into the doghouse. So you have Hawk Porty, who you're playing more down there as a big fella. And there's guys that can do things off the bench. They're just not giving consistent production. And what I keep uttering to say is that in order for them to solidify the bench has got to want it and want to. You got to force the coach to not put the starters back in. If you're playing well, then you'll stay on the court more. But that's a whole different other dynamic. This is sad to say, and I'm scared because every time Mitchell Robinson goes to the water fountain, he hurts himself. But they need him back so he can be in the starting lineup. They can't start him right away because he got to get his feet wet, make sure that he's right, make sure that everything is good, gets into the rhythm. He hasn't played ball in a while. But if they can put him in the starting lineup after that, once he gets acclimated, now you have Towns at the 4. Mm-hmm. You have OG at the 3, who will be coming back from his injury thing soon as well, too. Bridges will be the 2, and then now you have, of course, Brunson at the 1, which now makes you having a dope 6-man with Josh Hart, and we know he's going to come off the bench and play a phenomenal role with Deuce, with a Payne, with a Precious, with a Hawk Porty, with a Shamet. Maybe now it could work. But I never thought that I would say this. We need Mitchell Robinson to come back, and once he finally comes back, let's see how everything goes. You're talking about the bench and Robinson. This is what I'm concerned about with my eye test. We have not beat Cleveland nor Boston once this day. And what happened the other day on national TV against Boston is unacceptable.
Yeah, they got beat up.
Unacceptable.
No defense on Tatum. I mean, the Knicks have been winning. They're not terrible, but it's just they can't beat the top 3 teams in the East and West.
2.
Top 2.
Yeah, they didn't do it against Oklahoma. They blew a game against Oklahoma because they should have beat Oklahoma in Oklahoma that game. The Rockets are falling out the top 3. Who's in the top 3 in the West? It's Oklahoma. Is Denver back up there?
Yeah, Denver's up there.
We could beat Denver. We own Denver, so that's not an issue. Who's the 2nd seed in the West?
I believe the 2nd seed is the Memphis Grizzlies.
We play well against them. We killed them actually. We slapped them around. When they came to New York the other day. We see them soon in a row, so we'll see how it works. But forget the West. If they have aspirations of coming out the East, they played Cleveland very early, and they play them coming up after the break soon. So we'll see how they do in that next contest. But the 2 contests against the Celtics, I'll give you the first one because that was the first game of the season, championship night. Mm-hmm. They're going to come out blazing. But what happened on national TV last Saturday is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Period. And if you don't find a way to compete against those top 2 teams, you will be a 2nd round loss or a 3rd round loss to one of them when it's all said and done. So I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment. I know they'll kick it into different gear once they can get Robinson and everything back. But they got to do better against this Boston Celtics. That is not an acceptable performance by no shapes of the means.
Yeah, and even though they kind of turned it around by getting those 2 wins early this week against Toronto and Atlanta, the fact of the matter is, all the discussion is they need to compete against the teams in front of them in the Eastern Conference since they haven't won a game against A&M.
Did they beat Indiana too the other day?
Yeah, they smoked Indiana.
Yeah, they beat Indiana.
Okay.
Correction. Yeah, Indiana and Atlanta. Yeah, they smoked. So at least they avenged that loss. Last year, the Knicks were decimated with injuries.
If the playoffs ended today, the format would be like this: Cleveland versus Hawks, Celtics versus Magics, Knicks versus Pistons, and the Pacers versus the Bucks.
And the Detroit Pistons have owned the Knicks at the Garden this year in a surprising season. But more to the point, they can still beat the Detroit Pistons. This is what they matter. So we don't need to worry about that.
So 3-6, right? So that means, and Detroit has played us very well. They have a good young team. I think in a 7-game series, if we're all healthy, we'll be fine. But they have played very well against us. They have Cade Cunningham and those kids are playing very well, and Tobias is playing very well with them down there. But I still would favor our chances in that series. But that means if they win that series 3-6, the winner of 3-6 plays 2-7. The Celtics are the 2 seed. And if they play like they've been playing the last 2 games against the Celtics, they're going home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they are going out.
Yeah. But all right, on to another topic because not too long ago, St. John's were running the yard, as a certain crash brother of yours always say, Ryan. But right now, they were in the wrong end of an upset, losing at Villanova.
Oh, did they?
Huh?
They lost to Villanova?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll call them in the morning. Thanks. Don't worry. Thank you very much. You lucky. You lucky. I want to call him right now, and I'm gonna give you that story in a second. Let's go ahead, Rafi. Continue.
All right. But so yeah, St. John's had a tough comeback. Lewis had a chance to win at the buzzer when they were down by 2 points, but they couldn't get it done. That might now that the St. John's Red Storm took the L for the first time in 2025. After a 10-game winning streak. Does this change everything we thought about St. John's this year as far as being like a 2 seed or a 3 seed in upcoming NCAA tournaments?
2 seed.
2 seed?
Yep. Wow. 21-4. 2 seed.
This is what I will say. Rafiq knows how I feel about this. I love every New York Metropolitan College team. Okay? I'm from New York. The only team that I root for that's out of the state is the Duke University Blue Devils, because I grew up liking Coach K. And that's from 1992, guys. I can't change anywhere. Jesus Christ, I'm on a show with radio who went to Canarsie High School in South Shore and likes the Philadelphia Eagles as his team. So if he can do that funny crap when he can get a Carnegie sandwich from New York and went all the way to Philadelphia for a cheesesteak, fine, it's America. You can like wherever you want, radio. Congratulations. So with that being said, I can like Duke. And whoever don't like it, then that's their damn problem. But I'm a Rangers fan, I'm a Knicks fan, I'm a struggling Giants fan. The Jets are doing well, I'll support them. I'm a Yankees fan. I will I won't support that Queens baseball team. So we're not even going to talk about that. But God bless them. But I'm New York. So I don't have nothing against St. John's. And I do basketball announcing. I live stream for high school games. So I actually develop relationships and rapport with many of these players who I know personally from 4 years old all the way up to 30 years old. Kadari Richmond, South Shore High School.
Good boy.
Brewster Academy. Syracuse started. Seton Hall mid-year. Last year, St. John's. Did I get that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kadari's an amazing player. Louis Jr. is a really good shooter and a really good player. Eli.
Don't cry.
You got Rick Pitino down there. You know that's Big Long Island. You know he gonna find a way to get some money down there. You know Pitino ain't afraid to bend a couple corners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he's changed the program. He's done a magnificent job in changing the culture and the mind state of what's going on with St. John's.
Even though they could stop Taylor Perkins from hitting the game-winning three, it is this one.
He's going to Corey, the senior. He going to the NBA.
They got some and watch they got some things brewing for next year too. So they're going to bring in some other transfers and he's going to recruit. So that's neither here nor there. They can get a 4, 3, or a 2 seed, and I'm going to tell you how it can happen. It's not guaranteed now, and I promise you guys this. They have to finish the regular season strong, which they will do. That Villanova loss didn't help. But now it's probably in their best to, for the rest of the season, they can't lose no more than one game. You want to go in and win the regular season title for St. John's, which is still right there in their hands to do. Now when you get to the Big East tournament, their goal is, in Madison Square Garden,
finish strong.
Yeah, you have to get to Friday. Minimum. You have to get to Friday. Saturday is championship day. But you got to get to Friday and you got to play good and show good with an outing. See, what people don't understand with the selection committee, it's about your quad 1 schedule, which quad 1, right. Neutral site, road wins, strength of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, the eye test. How do you look? Do you look like a team that should be in the NCAA tournament? And there's some teams that might not have. There might be a team in the Mountain West that might not have 20 wins right now. They might be 15-12. But the eye test tells the committee that's a team that needs to be in the tournament, if you understand what I mean. So their goal would really be to win the Big East tournament. If you win the Big East tournament, now you talking about you can get a 3 or a 2 seed, but it takes a lot. Remember, St. John's hasn't went to the NCAA tournament in a little bit of a while.
They haven't been to the NCAA tournament since 2019, and that was the first 4 loss.
Correct. So remember, the committee has to make this decision. And as long as they finish the season strong, they could absolutely. 2 weeks ago, when Kadari had that big shot against Providence, right? Yeah. They had them at that point a 6 seed projected, and St. John's had like 16 or 17 wins at that time. And on top of what,
once they added on with victories against Marquette and UConn, that changed everything we thought about St. John's basketball.
And Radio and Rafiq, which is amazing. And those are great wins and good wins. But then you lose to Villanova. You understand what I'm saying? So now they have to evaluate that. They have to. Because Villanova's not scrubby. They're decent, but they're not better than St. John's. Come on. And they're not the same Villanova that they used to be. Jay Wright is on TV. He's not coaching there no more. He's still a part of the program per se, but that's a whole different Villanova than what it was in the past. And that's not a good law. That's not good. So now they have to follow it up. And what I try to educate people is that, all right, me as a Duke fan, they say, oh, we're going to be a number 1 seed probably regardless.
Even with that loss against Clemson?
Yes.
When Cooper Flag slipped and fell again?
Yes.
Seriously. And Patrick was rubbing it in the other day.
And that's foolish. See, his phone worked for that, but his phone don't work tonight. But I'm going to make sure it works 8 o'clock in the morning when I get out here.
He texted me. Listen, he texted me to tell me about Cooper Flag slipping and falling again. And I had to call him out. I was like, listen, calm down. I was like, I didn't say nothing. I just let him go off, and that's it.
I love my crash brother, Patrick. God bless him. He is a stubborn, head-sturdy New York supporter. You can't tell him. I've been fighting with Patrick for years about the New York Mets. Patrick will give me every excuse when the Yankees don't do well. He's the Peter Gammons of evaluating a baseball and sports. When the Mets don't do well, it's every excuse. Injury.
It's the pitcher. It's the catcher.
You know what? We just lost today. They was better than us. We sucked. It's always 12 Charles Barkley excuses on St. John's. It's every excuse. Everybody else, though, it's a big thing. Slip and fall. He's going for 2 games where Cooper slipped up at the end of the game. But let's really talk about men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Duke Blue Devils are 19-3. They lost to Kentucky on a road game.
Yeah, neutral. Yeah, it was a neutral site game.
They lost to Kansas on a neutral site, right? They lost to Clemson, who's smoking hot and a damn good team in the ACC. So when people say you lost to Clemson, what? Clemson is better than Villanova. Way better than Villanova. Not even close. If anybody's been watching college basketball and knows what they're talking about. All those 3 losses are to quality teams. He had the nerve to tell me, oh, you lost to an unranked team. What the hell does that mean? First of all, let's be smart about it. Every team in Division I is ranked. It's just only certain people that get ranked in the top 25. Okay? So don't be smart to be stupid, Patrick. Okay? Second thing of all, Clemson, you don't have to be ranked to be good. That is absolutely preposterous. Was St. John's ranked 4 weeks ago?
No.
Were they good?
No.
No, they were good.
Oh, yeah.
So for him to say to me, you lost to an unranked team, Clemson is 18-5.
Listen to what he said. What do you think about St. John's now? A few weeks ago. That was a full loss to Villanova.
What do you think about them losing to Villanova? Did they lose on the home or they better have lost on the road?
It was a road.
Good. But because this is college basketball, guys. You can play a bad day and lose a basketball game. That is the reality. You know how many times I've seen Duke go in as a number 1 seed in the tournament and go home? You know how many times I've seen them as a 2 seed and go home? You know how many times I've seen them as a 3 seed and go home? It happens. It's a 1-game situation. Okay? And with me stepping away from the bias because I like St. John's, it can happen. That's why when he said that to me, I said, guys, the season is still not over. You have to finish the season a certain kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? St. John's is not a scrubby team because they lost to Villanova. That's just a bad loss. They're going to go farther, most likely, than Villanova will, okay? But when I hear him say things that are so asinine in order to protect his position in points about them losing to an unranked team, Clemson is really good. You don't have to be ranked in the top 25 to be a good ball club, guys. That is so far.
Exactly. And to add on to your point, Columbia women's basketball team, they were a good. They were 11th seed, and they're not even ranked. And that's all because they're winning your conference.
Come on. What are we talking? Like, what did your radio say? Come on, man. What are we talking about here? This is college basketball. In a couple weeks, we're going to watch a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament that we didn't know before that are going to beat teams that probably had no business beating them because it's March Madness.
Just like UTEP?
Texas, El Paso, Jesus Lord Divine. So we, these things, St. John's is a good team. I want them to win the Big East tournament. Madison Square Garden deserves it. New York deserves it. Patino's doing a good job. He's got some good kids down there. I want them to do well. But Patrick, for you to depict the kid that is going to be the number 1 pick in the the NBA draft as a freshman, they have him as the best player in the nation. Right? He's going to win the ACC Big Player of the Year, on top of probably the Rookie Year as well, too. And trust me, right now, he going to Duke and he's a small kid. But I'm telling you, he's taking gym, lunch, and gym. Because when the season is over, he's going to talk to Adam Silver. Adam Silver is going to give him a little coat and a hat, and he's going to go to the end. Listen, Charlotte probably losing every game. Charlotte, whoever else, they want to lose every game. Because...
1 second, please. Gotta do my NBA static.
Yeah, go look into it while you're doing that. We cannot depict that. Duke is a top 4 team in college basketball. It's going to be very interesting. As long as they play to their potential, I see them as a Final Four team. I see St. John's as a Sweet 16 with a lot of potential to go to the Elite Eight. But there are things they have to get better at, too. They don't shoot the perimeter three at a great percentage. Lewis Jr. is their best shooter. They're not great with everything.
Yeah, they can't shoot. Yeah, you kind of notice that because the three-point shoot, because when St. John's had like two or three offensive rebounds that one possession in the second half, they just couldn't capitalize.
They can't capitalize.
And Villanova took advantage, and then you had two shots. Like they even though they did make about 7 3-pointers, they just can't seem to capitalize when it mattered the most.
It looks like the Pelicans might have the #1 draft pick.
Lose every game.
They're 13-42.
They gotta lose every game right now. Right now, shut down Zion. Zion, you could chill out, Zion. I'll shut down Zion right now. Zion,
Washington
man.
is 9-45.
You gotta find.
Washington's a much better position to win the lottery, but then again,
who's that?
Washington Wizards are in a better position to win the lottery to get Cooper Flag. But then again, they made the lottery more predictable. Where if you have one of the top 4 worst records in the NBA, you still have an equal chance of winning the NBA draft lottery.
But yeah,
me and Ray, we used to go. We watch basketball for years. We've been to NBA drafts together, so you can attest to this.
And that's what I love with Patrick too. That's the Uber for you right there. That's what I love with Patrick as well too. He always calls. He's such a prisoner of the moment. Cooper can have 98 great plays. He'll only call me when the plays
bad ones.
And it's like, oh, he slipped and fell, bro. He played, and that's
if you ain't gotten to know this guy, and he came on the show with us one time, you understand.
We had a whole argument because he's trying to tell me on air St. John's has a more winning tradition than Duke. I almost fell out this chair. How you gonna have more of a winning tradition than somebody, and you've never won a national championship? You
never won a national championship. Never had like 4 or 5 NBA players go.
I think they've been to the Final Four maybe one time. I think those Chris Mullin.
They've only been to national championship 2 times. I said this a year ago.
Have they really been to a national championship?
Yeah, they've been like 2 times. It was in the 50s. Lou Carsanaka, may God rest his soul.
Carsanaka, right, okay.
Lou Carsanaka, may God rest his soul.
Yes. Listen, they have a very rich tradition, and they do. Great things have come out of St. John's. Meta World Peace, aka Ron Artest, Chris Mullin, Malik Sealy, Bill Wennington, LeVar Postel, Eric Barkley, Omar Cook, Marcus Hatton, Zendon Hamilton. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Daryl Showtime, Shamari Pons, on and on and on and on and on.
On and on and on and on and on.
God bless, like you said, Luke Carnesecca. God bless him. You know what I'm saying? There's great things that come from there, and they have a great institution. But for you, Patrick, to tell me that St. John's has the same winning pedigree as a Duke, you must be taking crystal meth. There's no way that I can think that you're logical.
I'm going to bring you back when Patrick comes back, so this way you know what I'm talking about, my guy.
Yes, there's no way to compare that. Duke has won 5 national championships over the last 30 years, right?
And the reason why they're one of the top teams in the country because they racked up a lot more quad 1 wins, and they've had quad 1 wins than St. John's this year.
It's not even a question. They built their program so much. The beginning of the year, like I told them, I said, God, bro, we scheduled to play Kansas. We don't back down from the smoke. We scheduled to play Kentucky. We played Auburn this year. We beat Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We don't back down. We play who we're supposed to play. They schedule games to get ready for the tournament. Jesus Christ, don't talk to me when you're beating Warford, Monmouth, the St. John's last year in a preseason game. I brought it up to him I said, you know that you lost to Pace? You lost to a Division II school in the preseason. And my boy Trayvon Alexander had a triple-double against you. You lost the pace, and you're talking to me about Clemson and Cooper Flag slipping and falling when he's going to talk to Adam Silver in 4 months? Stop it.
And then we have to play Creighton, the team that we lost, the one other team in the Big East we lost to this year. And then not to mention the losses to Muhammad. Oh, yeah, we can't forget about the losses to Georgia and Baylor.
I'm going to be at that Creighton game, so...
Nice. I'm going to all the Big East tournament games, too. So,
let me get a ticket.
Man, we're going to talk up there.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely.
But St. John's has a good team, Rafiq, and Duke has a good team. They're both going to make runs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to let my connection with St. John's. You know the connections I have with them. I'm not going to let that change the way I think about the debate with St. John's versus Duke.
And the world, I love St. John's. I don't have nothing against them. I just got to crash Bubbles bubble when he starts talking too crazy. That's craziness.
Johnny's all day, baby.
That's it, Red Storm.
Yeah, let's go Red Storm. And with that, we'll before we get off the air, last week, Ryan, I understand you had you interviewed some great players from Takeover, and you answered to, like, first of all, you did a phenomenal job with the commentary. And I mean, you said that that team losing by 17 points is considered a close game. It's understandable because sometimes miracles can happen, but yeah, it didn't happen at the one play where you did say 17 points, really close game. You sounded like you were being sarcastic at one point, but I kind of know your words. So yeah, and then good interviews you did last week at the Takeover Classic all the way. And for those of you that don't know, it's located all the way Eagle Academy, Queens.
Yes, sir.
So Canarsie, they playing. Let's go.
Oh yeah, you know I told you know Rafi, you know how I feel about Canarsie.
Yeah, Canarsie got steamrolled by Eagle Academy BK.
They lost?
Yeah, they did. It was about like 70-49.
What was the score?
It was 70-49.
Jesus
in the
Christ.
semifinals. Canarsie proved a lot, but they just can't beat Eagle Academy BK for some reason.
Yeah, but that's the Boroughs, so at least they still have a chance to try to win.
Championships.
It was 85-53.
Yeah, around that. I mean, it was when I saw the live streaming thing, but I didn't really. Yeah.
Did Xavier play?
I think he did. Yeah.
EJ? What the heck happened?
That's the game I should have won too.
But I mean, we know Eagle is Brooklyn. We've known what they've done the last few years, and we know they're still a good. But that margin of victory just scared Canarsie. Xavier, PJ, and Clark. Those are really good kids. So I'm just really
they're really nice. I mean, I should know. They're good. And Peter Singleton's tall.
Yeah, man, the kid's
that guy was way too tall to be in high school. But then again, yeah.
Right? No, let me stop.
But you know what though? But to go into it, yes, it's a joy and honor to be working with Prime, my man Russell Miller, Prime Studios Focus, at the Takeover tournament. He did media work and was with a Takeover team a few years ago in crunch time for the Winter League. We developed a great synergy, and he's always said, like, yo, we're gonna work, we're gonna do stuff together. So when they started the Takeover tournament with my guy Arron Rodgers, the commissioner as well, doing a good job down there, he called me from early and he wanted me to do the live stream part with it. And I've done live stream before in the past with Crunch Time, which we're gonna get back that up and get that to a high level too, with me getting a better rhythm with it. And I came down and did the live stream for him. I've done announcing for him at the Takeover tournament too, but we wanted to also push the live streaming part to a whole different level. And we're trying to make sure we're like how Stage is in Brooklyn. See how Stage, they cover all the big Brooklyn games and so on and so forth for the live streaming. We're trying to do that for Queens. And we started the home base with Eagle Academy because we have a great relationship with Dion Merritt, Real Skills, who does his training and is a head coach at Eagle and did a phenomenal job, still doing a phenomenal job this year. So to have the opportunity to interview guys like Leaky Roof, JJ, all these different players, the coaches, the national champion cheerleading squad, there the last few weeks through Eagle and the Takeover tournament has been phenomenal. It's a great opportunity. We're going to be doing it more at Crunch Time Basketball. I appreciate you, Rafiq, for also tuning in as well too. So you probably heard me say my quarter water hero sandwich and a bag of Lay's lines a couple times.
Yeah, your commentary's off the hook, and yeah,
really appreciate it. And we're just trying to just elevate it. We got some good things flowing. We might in the future. We did a big thing with JetBlue, so we might most likely are going to be traveling to go do a military game for them to live stream and take care of us. And then we're in the process of also he's pitching it to JetBlue because once that last pitch goes in, you're going to hear and see our live streams for what we do at every JetBlue place throughout the United States of America and hear me over that literally at the airport. So that's the next thing that we're building on. He has this tournament coming up soon again. So we'll start up again with that, and I'll help him out as much, but I'll be super busy because crunch time's coming, and I'll be there doing announcing and live streaming. Plus, the Brotherhood is about to end soon. Their playoffs and chip is coming up soon, and I'm pretty sure he's going to take like a 2-month break and be right back at it for the summer. So, but it's just a joy and an honor. And Eagle Academy kids have done Queens has done a great job there. All the Eagles are doing very well. Brooklyn, of course, the Bronx, of course, and yeah, it's just great to have the opportunity to do it, man. It's live streaming, and you know that, Rafi, color commentary is a different type of art than actually announcing the basketball game while live. You have to go about it different ways, and it's just great to have the opportunity. So I appreciate that. You know, everything we do, we support each other. I can't be as good in football like radio or go to St. John's like you because I can't even spell St. John's. If I go to St. John's, I'm taking lunch, gym, and I guess I got to take a religion class, right? But don't get me to go to St. John's. Put me at my Cheney University, bro. And that's just a joke to say that, listen, you're doing phenomenal things too, and we keep doing phenomenal things. And it's just work. This work with basketball don't never end, do it?
Basketball never ends. It really isn't. But this episode of the But the Sports Talk ends right now. Thank you for stopping by, gentlemen, and I really appreciate you. And yeah, the conversation with the Super Bowl will continue with Deb Whticas goes on the next episode. For Ryan Walker, Randell Adolphe,
let me do
Lewis on. We'll see you
for radio.
What's up? What's up?
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit them low, hit them high. And watch them Eagles fly. Come on, Gilly. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Sing with me, radio.
I can't sing, bro.
I don't memorize the damn song. Oh, Lord. Pray for me. Rafiq. So, Rafiq.
For Randell Adolphe, Rafiq Lewis on, Ryan Walker. We'll see you next time on another episode of the But This Sports Talk. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Deb Whticas came on the show with Your Eyes Not to See You. I'm actually filming from St. John's campus media publication, W-Red TV. That's really where I'm at right now. I'm at a new location alongside Deb Whticas. I'm Rafiq Lewis on. I know you had a fun time at the Super Bowl. Ready, you're actually enjoying your favorite team winning Super Bowl, to getting a lot of great interviews highlighted by Tommy DeVito, Tommy DeVito, literally everywhere. How you doing down there in California after another Eagles championship?
It was amazing. New Orleans was literally magical. And now that I'm back in LA, I'm like, did all of that just happen? Like, it's a whirlwind. It feels like a dream, to be honest. I got there Monday, went right into makeup, and then went right to the media, like checked into a hotel, went right to media night, opening night, and it was honestly like a circus. I'm not gonna lie. There was media everywhere. The players were announced, the coaches were announced, and then you just kind of went, and it was really packed in there. Like the Superdome is so huge, but they had us on the sidelines, which was unusual. And It was just we were like media was just bumping into each other and like you couldn't walk. And finally the Eagles were first. So I kind of wish they would have had Kansas City first because then I would have had more time with the Eagles. But as I got way more interviews with Kansas City because there was not like a lot of the media left because they were just so sick of being bumped into, I feel like. So I got a lot of good interviews with Kansas City. And then the next days, the presser started. I also did a great event with the off the field wives, the NFL wives. They did a water safety event and they taught 200 kids to swim and also CPR. So that was super special to watch the kids, go through all the steps of saving someone's life. And then just I was at every single presser, talk with both sides, Sirianni, Andy Reid, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, all of the players. Each day there was about 10 players that were available to talk to media, and they switched out every single time. So I think I saw Brandon Graham twice, but yeah. So then just events, and then I was lucky enough to be on Media Row, have a Blond Blitz booth on Media Row on Thursday and Friday. I had been on the wait list for it, and a booth opened up. So NFL Communications called and said, "Hey, if you want it, it's yours." So I kind of had to quickly scramble and get some interviews lined up, which that was great to have that presence on Media Row. And then also as you said, Tommy DeVito, I spoke with him and a lot of different former NFL players and NFL players at the luxury and company. Sorry, I'm a little sick, by the way, too. Luxury Experience and Co., which is run by Melissa McVoy, as well as Eli Lunzer Productions. They have a great event. It's at the Athlete Gifting Suite. So I probably did about 15 interviews there, and it was just such a good, and everybody was having such a good time, and like talking with each other, and the NFL community, like just the community. And that's even just before the game. You know what I mean? So like we haven't even gotten to the game yet. And then Lee Steinberg's event is always top notch. I got to interview Lee Steinberg as well. He was throwing my little pink footballs. I had little pink football like the stress balls. So he took about 5 or 6 of them for his like family, and then he was throwing them at people. So that was fun. It was fun too. Yeah, and then as far as the game, it was great to have a lot of my Philly friends there, and we all kind of watched the game together and went to some of the pre-parties, hung out with Jen Welter a little bit as well. Jen had some great events as well. She had 3 women in football events. The first was the kick glass woman in football exhibit. So basically, it was like a museum, and that was at the Longview. Warren Moon was there, Tim Brown was there, both Hall of Famers. Super nice. They were great. Marnie Schneider, I got to interview her. Her mother, Susan Toast Spencer, was the very first GM of the NFL. So she was honored at the exhibit. And then who else? And then her dad actually was the owner, or I'm sorry, her grandfather was the owner of the Eagles, several years ago as well. So she's Eagles all the way. And then Jen also did it's called A Day in the Life, where about 100 women came together to learn what it's like to be an NFL player. So we did drills, we learned playbook, which I've never really seen before, so I still have it. I kept it. This is my 3rd time I did A Day in the Life. And there also was like a fashion show that she had too, of all one of her friends does football design. So it was all clothing. It was very woman focused. And then also Jen did the Gridiron Girls camp. So there was about 200 young ladies who came together with flag football, and they learned. It was with 18th Ward. So it was just a really special week. I mean, I started at 6 a.m. every single day, and I went till midnight. Also went to the Cigars with Stars, Jaws and Dickas party. I smelled like cigars the entire time. And yeah, it was absolutely a blast. And I'm tired now.
Yeah, I can only imagine because it's a Super Bowl. What you expect?
Yeah, yeah.
The excitement literally starts when you're interviewing the top players from the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. But getting back to the interviews you've done at media day, like when you interviewing like a Jalen Hurts or or AJ Brown or
Yeah,
Saquon Barkley?
everybody.
Like,
I
what
mean,
are
I
some of
think I literally spoke with everybody. I mean, they're
like what
right
are
in
some
front of you.
like what are some of the best quotes or intake you take from these interviews from both Kansas City and Philadelphia?
I feel like just in general, I felt like both teams were really ready. And the one things that I took away from it was, and they're not going to reveal their strategies. You know what I mean? Like that's not something that they're going to tell the media. But I really felt like both Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts especially said we're gonna do anything we can to win this game. Like you guys don't think we have the greatest pass game, like we're gonna show you. You know what I mean? Like they like obviously Eagles are more of a running team, but they were like they passed, Jalen ran. Like I mean they did anything they could. They did anything to win the game, and the Eagles were locked in from the start. So yeah, I mean, basically, like that was the message that they like the Kansas City was going for the three-peat and the Eagles were locked in to win. So, yeah.
Yeah, they were locked in, and the motivation literally carried on to the type of defensive effort. Well, except
Yes.
for the 22 points they gave at the last minute, the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles was not messing around this time. I
Top
mean,
notch.
come
I
on
mean,
now. They literally picked off Patrick Mahomes twice.
twice.
One of them
Yep,
got returned for a
twice.
touchdown.
Cooper DeJean on his birthday, and then Zach Bond as well. It was amazing to watch. It was amazing to be in the stadium and seeing that. My favorite part of the game was seeing that zero into the third quarter. I was like, has this ever happened in a Super Bowl before? And it's happening to the
Oh, yes,
Chiefs.
it had.
Like,
And that
what is
Super Bowl
going
at MetLife
on?
Stadium. The Super
Yeah.
Bowl at MetLife Stadium. The one where
Okay.
Seattle smoked Denver. After that missed play at the beginning, it was pretty much over from there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was wild to be in the stadium too, and just to see those, two pick sixes. And and I mean, like Kenny Pickett, the backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, came into the game. How many times does a backup quarterback play in the Super Bowl? Like
Nick
how much
Foles is the
does that
backup
happen?
quarterback for you guys in
Yeah,
that
but that
system.
was different. That was different. Nick Foles was in, and you're correct. That was different. Nick Foles, because Carson, I did talk to Carson actually. Carson was hurt. He had been hurt on the Rams game at least a month prior, if not more. I think it was around a November game. So we knew that Carson Wentz wasn't coming in. Like Nick was like the QB1. In this instance, Jalen Hurts was the QB1 and Kenny Pickett was number 2. And he came in because the Eagles were so far ahead. There was no way Kansas City was catching up. So I feel like that's a little different of a situation.
Yeah, it's very different. And you know
Yeah.
what? Being an Eagles fan and having those trophies sit in the back. If you wanted to give up any one of those trophies sitting right in the back of you, like those are trophies to, which two Philadelphia Eagles would you give it to?
Um,
Players would you give it up to after the performance they've had in the Super Bowl?
the performance in the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously Jalen Hurts won MVP. And I think the second one, I think I'd go with Cooper DeJean. Like that pick six was just amazing. Also a huge Brandon Graham fan. And he gave me a great answer. I had asked him because he's the last Eagle standing from like Andy Reid drafted him. You know what I mean? So he was the last Eagle standing from Andy Reid's head coach time. So, and Brandon was now facing him for the second time in a Super Bowl. And I just asked, because we all pretty much knew that was going to be Brandon's last game, has it all come full circle? And he was like, it absolutely has. He was like, thank you for asking me that question. And he kind of was like, it was a dream to be drafted by Andy Reid for the Eagles, and now he's, and so I forget the exact quote, but it was long, and he was really invested, and I was very happy. So it'll be on my socials. We have so much content that I can't even get to all of it. So we're still editing, and we're still going to be pushing
Yeah,
out
that's how it is
probably
in
about a
media
month.
day. And that's how it is in media day when you're trying to
Yep.
like you interview literally the whole really half the roster from both teams.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I probably did around 100 interviews. I'm not gonna lie. And we have it all on tape, and
Yeah,
I'm
but
I'm following up with
just
everybody. I'm
take it
trying
day
to do
by
my
day
own
to
job.
publish everything or just do a montage of some of the best
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I mean,
this is
that's what I'm
this
gonna
is
do
how
this weekend.
this is how Blond Blitz is gonna grow. And you did it all by yourself without your
Yep.
partner that you hosted with last year.
Hmm.
I mean, whatever happened happened, but I'm sure that you'll probably reconnect in the future. But this time around, this experience, you'll definitely get your partner
Yeah.
to come back
Yeah, it
somehow.
was a lot. I mean, and we got some really good feedback from, being on Media Row, and, people came up to the booth asking what Blond Blitz was all about. And it was just really nice that people had a lot of interest. And, like I said, we'll be following up, or I'll be following up with everybody within the next week. So,
Yeah,
but you come home and
exactly.
you're like, wait, I'm back to reality. Wait a minute. Like I have other like regular work and
Mhm.
responsibilities. So I'm trying to stay up and late and trying to do everything. So
Yeah, exactly. And obviously balance it out with your TV production
correct.
career, and take it from a guy who's literally you're in a TV
Sitting
studio right
in
now,
a
campus
TV
media.
station, yeah.
Yeah, if you thought this office space was nice, wait till you come down to York and see a station. But not right now, though.
Right, right.
Nowhere in the
And
near future. But more to
I
the point.
actually am starting a new project, but I can't talk about it yet. So I'm starting that on Monday. So
That's
I'm trying
fine.
to
Keep it
some,
quiet. I
some
can't talk
crew
about what I'm
grow.
doing I can't talk about what I'm doing with something
Yeah,
TV related right now on this podcast either.
yeah.
That's fine. You'll see it. So yeah. Now on to another point. You mentioned that you went to that little event where you and the women are trying to learn football. Like,
Hmm.
what was the hardest part about like being in a football field with all the women that you were playing football with and learning from others?
So it's interesting to me. I come from a dance background. I've danced since I was 3 years old. So when I have a stance, it's like a position one, basically. So like my feet go like that. And I just do that naturally. It's just the way I stand. And football is just not like that. So all of the coaches were like, Deb, you need to go forward. You can't have your feet out. But I was like, but. And all the coaches were phenomenal. We had such a great time. I didn't ta Jen's big on tackling. She loves to tackle. I don't love to tackle so much. I did it once last year, and this year I didn't do it because I didn't want to hurt my back. I have back issues. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay away from that one. But my favorite thing to do is kicking, just because I come from a dance background and I love to kick, and I always wanted to be a rockette growing up. So I love kicking, and it transfers to football, believe it or not. Like when I was kicking, everyone's like, Deb, that was great. Like that was right on. So I actually even thought about actually playing and maybe being a kicker, but I'm not sure if I could actually fit that in my schedule, to be honest. So there is an
Well,
LA
once
team though.
once it's, well once the schedule eases up, you can give it a second thought.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I think it would be fun to do. I love kicking.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
and who knew I was good at it?
Hmm.
I did one thing I did miss. I missed the quarterback throwing because I came late from another event where I forget even where I was. Oh, I was at Media Row. So yeah, that's the one drill that I missed that I wanted to do. But I've done it in the past. Excuse me, it's always been a blast, but I just missed it this time. So I was a little bummed out. I did get to throw though.
Yeah.
So
I know. Yeah, I could only imagine. But it gets that now that you got to this point, and I believe this is like your how many Super Bowls have you covered as media?
as media, I started with media the Tampa Super Bowl where the Buccaneers beat Kansas City. They blew them out too. So that was what, 2021?
Hmm.
So five. So I think I've been to eight.
Hmm.
So I started when the Eagles won their very first Super Bowl in 2018. It was the 2017 season. So I was a fan then. Then I was also a fan in Atlanta when the Rams played. And then it was the Rams and I forget, but the
It was the
Rams
Rams
did.
and the Patriots.
The Rams and the Patriots. The Patriots won, right?
Yeah, that
And
Super
then
Bowl was egregious.
the next season, the next year was Miami, and that's where I started to do some red carpet interviewing then. And then the next year I was officially media. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
going.
where
I
they have
love.
you sitting at when you were in the actual Super Bowl game itself?
I was right in the end zone on the second level, and then we walked down later. So we knew some
Mm.
people. I didn't walk down I wasn't on the field, unfortunately, but I was right close to it.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was
Sorry for the
fun.
lights. I mean, it's just
That's
people
okay.
who work around. You know how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yep.
But anyway,
All good.
more to the point. What advice do you have for anybody that's trying to like get some Super Bowl reps?
You know what? Just network as much as you possibly can and go to, and it's funny because I actually interviewed with Lee Steinberg and I brought it full circle for me because Lee was the very first person I went to. I literally typed in Google, how do I become a sports reporter when I decided I wanted to pivot from reality TV and nonfiction to sports. And I typed that in, and Lee Steinberg's conference, his sports media conference, popped up. And so I went and I met him and Chris Cabot and a bunch of other people and just started networking and just really started focusing. So I actually thanked Lee for that experience because without that experience, I would have never focused and I probably wouldn't be there. And I'm like, now 5 years later, after that conference, I'm here sitting in Media Row with my own booth, the Blond Blitz booth, and I'm interviewing Lee Steinberg. You know what I mean? Like it was magical. It was a full circle moment. It was amazing. Um, so I think just work hard, network as much as you can, look to see what events, if it's NFL, if it's, you know, any of the women's flag, women's basketball. I know you're a big fan of women's, WNBA, any sport you want to get into. Just look and see where there's free events that you can go to and just network and talk with people and tell them what you want to do. And it's sports is a very, very, very small network of people. And if people believe in you and you show passion and you show that you love something, like they will help you out. So that's my advice is just network as much as you can and also posting on social media. Like social media is so big. Just talk about the games, go on, go live, go have your own show. I mean, that's what I'm doing, you know what I mean, with that sports podcast network and the Blond Blitz. And I just decided, hey, if no one's gonna hire me, I'm gonna do it I'm gonna do it on my own. You know what I
It's
mean?
the
And then
exact same
someone
thing
will
I
come
thought.
knocking.
Yeah, when nobody want behind me after all the years I've been doing this podcast. That's why, well, I already told you why I'm sitting in the studio right now, so I don't need to keep going over,
Yeah,
going over and
but
over, but more to the
a
point.
lot of people though. Like a lot of people. Like
Hmm.
if you came to Super Bowl, like people would know who you are. Absolutely.
Man,
100%.
listen, all these podcast interviews let me come to the WNBA Finals in 2023. So
Yeah.
I know how you feel. And I've got two biggest media day reps already. And
Hmm.
this school is what was part of biggest media. So
Hmm.
I don't need to explain. All you can do is just look at the interviews and see the work. And you've done
Exactly.
an amazing job contributing
Thank
to
you.
nothing but the sports talk. And I'm glad to have connected with you to Renee Washington's Plants Not Buried.
Love
So
Renee.
yeah, Renee's. Oh yeah, speaking of Renee, she's probably at the
She's
parade right
probably at
now,
the parade.
along with
She
Cody
should
Harden.
be.
Why you not at the parade? Give me your Emmys.
Because I had to get back here to LA. I couldn't do Philly, unfortunately. So yeah, I had to get back. So I had some work stuff that I needed to get done here. So I would love to be there though. I'm rooting him
Uh,
on. I'm rooting him on from afar.
yeah. All right, that wraps up this episode. Nothing but that sports talk. Thank you for stopping by, Deb, and I'm glad I was able to make it happen, even doing every in a different site. And sorry for the blurry camera because I'm not
Fine.
usually not using this camera. But more to the point, thank you for stopping by, Deb Whticas.
We'll see you soon.
Rafiq Lewis on. We'll see you next. We'll see you next football season or the NFL draft
Yes.
around that.
Yeah.
You got to make
Come
sure
by.
you catch the NFL draft. The good quarterbacks coming up.
I know I'm going. I'll be at the draft. I can't do Combine because I have another show that I'm taping that weekend. But I will. I'll be at the draft for sure. So,
Okay.
all right.
Have a
We'll see
good
you
day.
later.